our Facebook Live today. I'm Lily, and I am the current AmeriCorps here at the OLC. So during our Facebook Live today, we are going to talk about light pollution. Do any of you guys know what light pollution is? Go ahead and tell us in the comment section if you do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this video just to get you guys thinking about light pollution, and the effects of light pollution on the earth. So all of the gold or yellow spots like up here on the globe are actually lights from different cities on the earth. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and you can use this time to tell us what you know about light pollution. Okay, so that was a super cool video. That video was actually created by using a bunch of pictures from a NASA satellite back in 2012. So those were real pictures created, put together to create that video. So, and as you can see, the light that we emit here on Earth can actually be seen from space. Okay, so many of you have probably heard of pollution. Pollution is something that is in the environment that can cause harm to things that live there. Light pollution is when there's too much light that's added to an environment, and that can end up hurting animals, plants, and even people. So there are 4 parts to light pollution. This picture shows 3 of those things. So we have sky glow up at the top, light trespassing, way over there, glare, which is down here, and then the one thing not on here is clutter. Light pollution can come from a lot of different sources, so it can come from outside lamps, billboards, buildings, flashlights, and even from the lights that are inside your house. Any light that you can see from the outside can be called light pollution. The first thing we're going to talk about is glare. Glare is when a light is so bright that it makes your eyes hurt. Have any of you ever looked at a light or near a bright light and it made it so you couldn't see? That's glare. You can actually see in this picture on the left, it's over there, the top picture, you can't see anything that's behind the light. The light is so bright that it's creating a glare, making everything else hard to see. The bottom picture is actually the exact same image, but someone's holding their hand above the light. And so you can see that someone's actually standing behind the fence, and you couldn't see that because of the glare in the top picture. The next issue with light pollution is sky glow. So sky glow is exactly what it sounds like. It's when the sky glows because the lights are too bright. It's really common in cities. You can see in both of these pictures here. And sky glow also happens when there's nothing blocking light that comes from buildings and lamps. So lamps that look like this, they don't have any cover or anything on the top. So that means that all of the light is going all over the place. Into places that we don't need the light. So all of these pictures were all taken at night, but it's so bright that you can't even tell really that it's nighttime. Have any of you ever been to a city and seen the sky at night, or been able to look at stars at night from the city? Probably not, because of the sky glow. Light trespassing is our next thing to talk about, and it is probably the biggest problem for humans. When you trespass, it means that you're going into someone else's territory or area. Light trespassing is when light goes where it's not needed or not supposed to go. So this is really common in, again, cities and apartment buildings, or places with burglar lights or floodlights. So I know at my apartment, everyone has a light that's outside, and some of my neighbors leave their light on all night long, and that light actually goes into my living room and my bedroom. So that's light trespassing, because that light is not where it's supposed to be. So if you want to have outdoor lights, it's best if you can direct your light away from your neighbors, like they do in the pictures here. So you can see that picture over there, and then this one up here. Okay, so the last thing that causes light pollution is clutter. Clutter is, again, common in cities, and it's where there are lots of lights, period. And if you ever heard of the word clutter, clutter is when there's a lot of something in a small area. So light clutter makes sense. All of this light clutter, you can see it in this too, it causes people and animals to get distracted and confused and can cause a lot of issues. So now that we kind of know what light pollution looks like, we're going to talk about some of the effects of light pollution and why we even need lights at night. So in this picture, you can see how light pollution changes depending on where you're located. So in this one right next to me, it is an excellent dark sky site. So this is probably somewhere you're going to have an observatory or a telescope so someone can see and look at all the stars. You're going to be able to see the Milky Way from here. Next to that is a rural sky. So that maybe is a place that has a couple houses, maybe some lights, but you can still really see the stars at night. Next to that is a suburban sky. So it's a lot more houses, more of like a neighborhood. You don't have a lot of street lights, but not like you would in a city. Next to that is a suburban/urban transition. So this is like right on the outskirts of a city, where you see the lights from the city and they're starting to get really bright, but you're not really in the city yet. The next one is inner city sky. So that very, very last one down there. That is where you have all of your huge buildings, your skyscrapers. There's tons of lights 24/7. And that's really an issue because with light pollution, because you can't even see the stars at that point. You can't even tell if it's nighttime really because of that sky glow. So more light pollution means that more energy is being used. A lot of electricity is non-renewable sources, which can cause harm in the long run. Light pollution also disrupts wildlife and the ecosystem. In areas like cities where it's bright 24 hours a day, it can cause problems with animals. Animals use the sun to know when they should wake up and when they should go to sleep. And if it's light all day long, how do they know when to go to sleep? I'm actually going to talk about more about this in the next slide, so I'm going to stop there on that. But going on to another problem with light pollution is that it's actually harmful to human health. Humans are animals, and just like other animals, we have problems knowing when we should go to sleep if it's always light out. So just think for a minute. Think, is it easier for you to fall asleep when the lights are off or when they're on? I'll let you think about that for a second. I know I can't fall asleep unless it's dark in my room and the lights are off. And scientists have actually studied light and found that people who spend more time in artificial light or light that isn't from the sun actually have more health problems and have a harder time sleeping, they don't eat well, and are more likely to be depressed. But even though we have all these issues, there is still a reason to have outdoor lights. Things like floodlights and burglar lights are important for stopping crime. I have another question. So if you guys were a burglar, I want you to think, would you rather go into a building that's dark and easy to hide in? Or would you rather go into a house that has a really bright light on the outside or maybe has a light on the inside? So studies have actually shown that houses with a floodlight or a light on the outside have fewer break-ins. Burglars are afraid of going into an area that has a lot of light because it's easier to be seen. And that's kind of why we have all these lights at night. Humans don't see very well in the dark. But even though we don't see that great, we still need to keep in mind how much light we're giving off and how long we keep our lights on. So like I said before, lights really disrupt wildlife. Animals like moths are drawn to light and will actually swarm around these bright lights. And this creates issues not only for the moths, but for things that eat moths. So the picture to your left shows the percentage of nocturnal animal species. So as most of you probably know, all bat species are nocturnal. Over 90% of amphibians are nocturnal. Over 60% of mammals and invertebrates are nocturnal, and about 30% of primate species are also nocturnal. So we talked about it before in past lives, but a nocturnal animal is an animal that is awake at night and sleeps during the day. Most nocturnal animals also have really large eyes that help them see at night, but those large eyes make it very difficult to see when there are bright lights, which is why they sleep a lot during the day. Outside lights and lights that are coming from your house can actually even confuse birds and other migrating animals and wildlife because they use the sun to help them figure out where they're going and when to stop and when to wake up and when to go to sleep. So seeing bright lights from cities really messes up their migration patterns. So there are ways, though, that you can help to stop light pollution. The best thing that you can do is to only use light when and where it's needed. So if you can sit in a room without turning on a light, that's the best thing to do. You can also try to keep your blinds drawn or curtains, and this is going to block any light going from inside of your house to the outside and light that would cause light pollution. So if you're worried, though, about burglars or someone who's going to break into your house, and that's why you want to have light, something you can try to do is install motion detectors or timers. So a motion detector light will keep the lights off until there's something moving near your home, and then they turn on quick. And so that usually scares whatever it is. Timers are kind of similar. With a timer, though, your light is going to turn on when you want them to. So you can have it off when it's really, really dark outside, when it's really for the animals, or you can have it on, just the inside. But just again, keep in mind how much light in and around your home can actually be seen from the outside. Another thing you can do is to actually help with a citizen science project. So there are scientists all over the world studying how bad light pollution is in different areas in the world. So you can help out with a project like that in your neighborhood or with any project around the world. All you have to do is kind of Google Citizen Science Project Light Pollution. And there will be a bunch of projects that show up and you can easily help with them. Any age can help. Okay, so here are a few examples of how light pollution actually changes the world we live in. So the picture on the right shows how much pollution has occurred from 1950, which is this one, all the way up into what they predict 2025 is going to be like. So you can see that in the 1950s, which is this one, there was very, very little light that was shown. So, I should explain this a little bit too. The areas like this really red spot, and the brighter the colors get, are actually spots that have a lot of light. The darker the area, the less light there is, and light pollution. Okay, so you can see that in the 1950s, there was very little light. There was some in the East Coast, but not really that much. This one, I believe, is the mid-1970s. There's some more, because people are getting more lights, more electricity. 1997, so the 90s, the East Coast is pretty lit up. but by what they expect in 2025, almost all of the East Coast here, well, really from Midwest all the way to the east, is completely lit up. Actually, I'll let you see a little better too. With light pollution. And over here near Washington and Seattle, it's also really bright because that's cities. So we can each do our part in making this map not as bright by keeping our lights low, dimming them when they can, putting in darker light bulbs, putting on timers, all the stuff that we kind of talked about. Because this light pollution will cause harm to animals, humans, and even plants. So the pictures on the left are actually before and after. The top picture was before the city or town began shutting off all their lights at night, and the bottom picture is after that town or city began shutting off all their street lamps, or they put in darker bulbs. But in the bottom picture, you can actually even see the Milky Way, which is crazy because in the top picture you can't see that at all. You can't even see stars. So by just reducing the amount of light you have outside, or the light that can be seen, you're helping to clear up the skies. So shut off your lights when you leave a room. Be careful to turn off your outdoor lights, and you're going to be actively helping wildlife and the earth. All right. So that's all I've got for today. If you guys have any questions about light pollution, put it in the comment section now. And if you are watching on the replay, I will get back to you guys as soon as possible. So while you guys put any comments in the comment section, I'm going to go ahead and keep talking. So if you don't already, be sure to follow us on Facebook or Instagram. And to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post something on our Instagram and Facebook pages almost every day, and we put all of these Facebook Lives onto our YouTube channel. We also have a lot of what they're called critter crafts on our videos on our YouTube channel, and these crafts are perfect for kids, but anyone can watch and make these videos, watch and make these crafts. So I'm going to see, do we have any questions? Okay. So I thank you all for watching today, or whatever day this is, and I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I will see you all next week. Bye!